All right, so I played a game today. Today is the first round of the Hong Kong Open, and it was really exciting game. Lasted almost like about 3 hours, I believe, and it's really exciting. Really, today's theme is definitely opposite color bishops, how to manage the middle game, the end game, etc. I think it's really interesting. So let's start this. So it was e4, e5, which I expected. Here, after bishop b5, I um after bishop b5, I saw before the game a bit the lines, but I actually mixed it up. After bishop b4, I played bishop takes c6, but it's actually another line, I believe, not in this line. But anyway, I played bishop c6. Best is to just castle. I took, and then dc, and then I takes e5, which I thought was yeah, because in my memory, which was wrong, after queen d4 and go knight e3 and everything is fine. But of course, queen e7, and then I played d4. I didn't consider knight. I thought knight d3 was not really something, because after knight d3, there's bishop takes d3, dc3, and then just whichever. I thought I could do more. Knight f3 doesn't make sense because you just waste tempo, so I just play d4. And then knight takes e4. Here, the only sensible move is queen f3, I believe. Oh, castle. What did I say? I mean, I thought queen f3 is very natural. I mean, if castles take, bishop takes c3, rook b1. I didn't like this mess, I feel. So I just played queen f3, knight takes c3, b3, bishop d6. Here, any attempt to defend the knight will be met by f6 anyway, so like bishop 4, you immediately lose to f6. So I have to castle, and then takes. Here, rook e1 doesn't work because of bishop a2, and then you lose basically here. So I have to take back queen e4. And actually, in the game I thought queen e5 was not great. I was expecting castles. And I was walking around playing Hall, and in the mirror, I saw the reflection, and I saw you took e5, and I was instantly quite happy, actually. Um, Here, of course, instinctively before he took, I was thinking, okay, if take, then bishop f4, I can be worse here, like rook e1 check, etc. But actually, I realized that bishop f4 is not that best, like, because the main idea of black's defense is to play bishop e6, and since you don't have a light square bishop nor a knight, it's quite difficult to challenge it. Like, just to illustrate, bishop f4, queen a5, or doesn't matter, I believe, like it's like a5, and then okay, because you have to protect the king side, so let's say f6, and then like let's say we check, then bishop e6, and this is the main idea. So and I thought bishop a3 was quite good because the idea is not to do anything. The idea is to just prevent him from castling. So I play bishop e3, bishop e6 as expected. Here I thought for quite some time. I was calculating a long line here. I was calculating rook e1, rook e d1, rook a d1, rook b1 as well, which was quite interesting. The idea is after rook f e1, I was calculating queen a5 actually, which to which I wasn't sure what to do. If I played bishop b4, queen b6, this is what I calculated. I'm not saying it's good, but here I thought like there are some queen g3 ideas. in the air, but also c5 is in the air. So like for example, queen g3, then c5, and then bishop a3. And here it isn't clear to me what this bishop might be doing. Like, I mean, of course we can play rook b1, c4, bishop e2, but not sure. And if I don't play this, I can also play c4 here. But the bad thing is that he can just castle, and this is the bad thing. Like, we're not in time for any queen e3, or in time for any queen g3, because he can just castle. And of course, if he already castled queenside, we never take on g7, because it just feels wrong. Like, open up the g file. So this was my idea. Like, I was afraid mainly of queen a5. But then I was thinking, okay, if our idea is to prevent him from castling, let's just play rook a1. But here, this also doesn't exactly, like, I didn't exactly see what to do. Because, okay, for example, a move like bishop d5 would actually lose to rook e1. This is quite nice, because it seems like, you're attacking first, but actually you lose the queen anyway. Again, because you don't have dark square control and the queen is on the dark square. So, after rook a1, what did I see? I rejected it because of queen a5. Because of queen a5, the same idea. And I'm not in time to do anything because again bishop b4 and now blanch the pawn. Like take. Okay, there's queen g3, but okay. To be fair, I didn't really see it. But also, just feels like in general, queen a5 just annoys me a whole lot. So I'm not sure what to do. Like if c4, that kind of stuff. Like I thought, hmm, I really love this bishop being pinned. So I just played rook e1 first, and then he played queen f6, which, to be honest, I burned 15 minutes of time trying to calculate this whole thing after rook e1, rook d1, which move is better, and in the end, he didn't play queen a5 at all, he played queen f6, which I think is really weird. I mean, now that I see it's the top move, but I really wasn't, I really wasn't worried about queen f6. I just played, I didn't want to trade, because I thought it was better actually. I'm down a pawn. I don't know if I'm better, but I'm comfortable. Played queen e3. The idea is if you had played queen g3, then you castle long, right? So basically, you can never allow him to castle. And we would love to play rook d1, but we're not in time, so we'll have to do some tricks. We have to play. Like if you don't want to get into the endgame, you play queen e3 or queen e3. But queen e3 I didn't like rook d8. Not sure what you're doing. So queen e3, and then now if you castle c1 into a7, so that's not what he can do. And actually I was expecting b6. This was what I was expecting, to which I was probably going to play queen e4, but then I spotted some other lines, because here my initial thought was to play queen e4, but there are some ideas with queen c3, and then I even calculated some sacrificing ideas, but it doesn't really work. So here I would have played rook a1. So, but then he didn't play b6, which was confusing to me. And I thought, here I briefly considered queen g3 with the double attack. But again, you have to castle, yeah, you will allow him to castle queenside. So I just continued my plan with rook a1. And the only thing I had to calculate was could he take on c2? And the answer is no. Because if he were to take on c2, queen c5 would be a very big problem. So this is a big problem. And if he were to do nothing, and by nothing I mean I'm not sure what to do. Like, not sure what nothing means. But anyway, like basically here it's already very strong because the king can never move. He played b6 as I expected. And then I played here. I also thought for a long time. I was comparing between queen g3 and queen d4. At first, my idea was to play queen g3, and the line I calculated was that I saw that if you were to defend any of the pawns, you will lose. Like if you play rook ac8, for example, I will take on g7, and then your rook will be trapped. That will be quite simple. And if you were to play something like queen g6, then I would play queen takes c7, and then this is threatening mate, and you have to play something like queen f6. And then here I would be very, very happy. Oh, so queen takes c6 is also mate, by the way. Oh, was it this line? Ah, yeah, okay, I didn't see this. Because at this point I haven't seen I haven't fully utilized the motif that the bishop is pinned. So I didn't see mates here. But anyway, it would be winning with or without the mate here. I was looking at some variations like c5, and then like basically just queen c6 check, and then just like this is surely winning. So I mean, if I'm not winning, I'm still not down anything. Like I equalize material, so that would be quite happy. So this is what I calculated during the game, and I realized that the only move he had was c5, to which would have taken, and then I calculated rook f8 and then bishop c1. I was trying to go here, but then queen g6, and this really annoyed me a whole lot, and I really didn't see how to continue, like queen e5, for example, and not really happy about his position. Like it doesn't really do much, I would say. But so so therefore I played queen d4. After a brief consideration, I saw this pin, and that this square is actually something I can infiltrate. So I started to consider queen d4. And then of course the only move would be c5. Otherwise it makes no sense. Like the b6 plan would make no sense. And here again, after c5, I was considering between queen e7 and queen g7. So what I calculated was queen d. So let's see. So queen e7, king f8 is first, queen c7, and then here I didn't really see. I thought, okay, queen f6, you have to defend against the mate threat. So queen f6, and then I thought, what to do here? Like, actually, maybe not even queen f6. You can also play g6, and here I didn't know what to do. Like, I felt it was unclear to me what to do here. I mean, we won a pawn, but maybe we won back a pawn, but maybe we can do something better. And actually, I miscalculated a little bit here. I played queen g7 with the idea that I'm already winning, which I'm not. So before I played queen g7, I calculated two lines. The first one being rook f8, to which bishop c1 would be just crushing immediately, because after queen g6 there is in the game I didn't see rook e6. I actually just saw queen e5, I think, or something. I thought it was very good for me. Like the rook was messed up, and you can, even though the bishop left, you're not going to castle, and I'm just going for the attack. So this was fairly nice for me. And the other idea is he might play king e7, and this is where I messed up a bit. Because to be honest, I was expecting, like I very smartly played bishop c1 with the idea that after rook a g8, I would have played bishop g5, and he cannot take, and he will go back and I'll get mate him. But this is not true because this is an X-ray defense, so he could just take, and this would be terrible. So, but they didn't play rook a g8. They played rook h g8 actually, which I think is quite smart. Here I realized that bishop g5 doesn't work, so I had to think about something else. So I considered rook takes e6 first. Firstly, I considered rook takes e6, but the refutation being if queen e6, then it would be really nice for me because I will play bishop g5 and I'll start mating you. But the point is he could play king takes e6, even though it looks really terrible. And the refutation I found was that after rook e1 and like king d6, and then there's no check. And if you check again, it just hide here, so it doesn't work. So I decided to consider something else, like bishop g5 first, and then queen g5, and then rook e6, trying to deflect a bit. So king takes e6, maybe like rook e1. Maybe if you go here, I can take on f7, something like that. But the refutation is okay. If you play king e7, king e7 is a bit more complex. So I wasn't sure about king e7, but king e6 surely just wins because you have to move the queen, and also there's the main threat, so you have to check. But there are no checks apart from rook d1. So and then rook d1, just king c6, and then there are no more checks. So this was the line that refuted my whole idea, and at this point I was down to like 15 minutes, and I think I just had to bail out. Like there's no other choice. Like queen h6 is the only other choice, but I felt that I might be in danger after that, so I played queen e5. Takes, rook d8, rook e1. So here it was quite automatic for me. Rook d6, rook h5, rook g7. So here I just use a tactic to win a pawn. I'm not sure is winning a pawn good, but it doesn't matter to me. I just want a pawn. So a3 here. I didn't really consider. I considered h4. This is what I considered, but after bishop takes a2, I didn't really understand what to do. Like if rook a8, there's bishop d5, so there's a tempo on the g2 pawn, so it's not so obvious to me how this might be good. And so I played, instead of h4, I played a3, just stopping anything. Here he played uh, king g8, which was expected. Also worth mentioning is rook e6 doesn't work because of rook e6 doesn't work because of rook e6. Also, there's some mate ideas like rook d1. So yeah, okay. But the main idea I want to illustrate is after a3, if he had played rook g4, for example, I could play bishop c7, I believe. Oh, what? There's rook e4. Wow. Quite lucky I didn't go for this. I was planning bishop c7. Because the idea being if you take on here, I'll take on e6. But, wow, there's rook e4. That's super nasty. That is super nasty. But anyway, he didn't play rook g4, luckily, in hindsight. So he played king g8, rook h4, rook g4. And here, I didn't see a way to avoid the trade, because I don't want to trade on h4 and then allow rook d2. So I just traded on g4. And then here, f3 was, in my eyes, really important, because I was choosing between f3 and h3 before I traded on g4. And after I traded, I instantly saw that if there's h3, there's this very nice rook d1 idea. I'm not sure is it good or is it like something, but basically, or bishop d1. But anyway, the idea is that what I was concerned was rook d1 mainly, because I wasn't sure if this endgame was winning, and it didn't have time to actually consider whether or not this was winning. So I felt it was important to keep the rooks before I can evaluate anything. But this allows bishop f5 and rook e2 I didn't like because rook d1 check, king f2, and then there's like rook a1, which I didn't enjoy. Quite, I didn't really enjoy this, so I played rook c1. I thought, okay, I might be passive for a while, but I'll at least there are no infiltrations for the rook. I'll slowly just push and then like try to move the king back and defend stuff. See what he does also. So rook g7, king f2 instantly, king g7, a4. a4 is a funny move. I was considering g4, but I think time was a bit low and I was a bit irrational here. I think g4 would be great. I was thinking it might fix the pawns on the light squares here, which may be targets, but actually they're mobile pawns in hindsight and it wouldn't really matter a lot. a4 with the idea of trying to induce a5, because I thought after a5, and let's say I place and I was about to trade rooks. I was planning to trade rooks here, like trying to trade, and then I would be really happy about this endgame. Like even if c6, I was really happy about this. Like I thought so, at least. But okay, like there are some intricacies, but this is what I thought when I played a5, a4. And if you were to play c6, then I would probably just try to play I'm not sure, like bishop d6 or and then a5 or something like that. Basically, I was about to trying to destroy his pawn structure, but he played the unexpected move a6, which I in the game thought was quite excellent. And then here I play g4. G4 is a g4. I was actually quite afraid of bishop d7, but he didn't play it. After bishop d7, my plan would be to. Oh, I see. I see. I didn't really see a plan here because bishop d7 was what I was worried, but apparently I can take on c7. But I didn't have much time to think because he played bishop g6, and I just played h4, just continue. Played c6, which I didn't like for him. I think it was quite good for me. Here he played c6, trying to play b5, but I just played bishop e3 because I can't. I mean, I don't want to allow b5 like that. Like if I play like, for example, say move like rook b1, then b5, and then if I were to do this, I don't really want to allow this because there's like c4 coming as well, solidifying. I didn't want this, so I played bishop e3. Now if you play b5, I will take on c5. So I play rook e5, and here I was calculating a line e5, starting with f4, attacking the e5 rook, rook d5, c4, and rook d7, and then now trying to play rook b1. This is my idea. Because bishop takes c2, rook to b2 here, and then like take on c5. And then here I think I would be good. I would be quite happy about this. But this did not happen. He played actually rook e4, which I completely missed. And here I was down to like, I was playing on the increment. Basically, f5 is a really tempting idea to lock this bishop. But after bishop h7, I didn't really understand how it might continue. Like king f3, I might lose the pawn. And here, I mean, I couldn't really understand if I'm keeping the pawn or what. Like it just seems very odd to me. Like rook b1, but like these pawns are also falling, and this bishop is not exactly trapped. So it's difficult to say. So I just played. Okay, I thought, okay, let's not risk that much. Let's just play rook a1, and then actually after rook c4, I had the temptation to play rook a3. I also wanted to play rook b1, but neither of them really appealed to me. And rook a3 is very bad. Like it looks bad. Like you don't want to play that move. But rook b1, I didn't really see it because now after bishop takes c2, like takes everything. c3 is hanging and c5 is not hanging. So this is the difference. And I don't really like this difference, apparently. So I didn't go for this. I played actually after rook c4. I saw that if I were to play something random, like what to play, like king f3, for example, or rook a3, he will play f5, and I didn't really like it. Like I have to commit my pawns here, and I don't like that. So I played f5, and then bishop h7, king f3. So here it was you have to make a decision before f5 because now here you definitely lose a pawn, but you have to choose which pawn. Actually, you have three choices, and then he played rook takes c3, which is the only pawn he could have taken. And I played rook a2 because I was down on the clock. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't just calculate everything. So then I played bishop g8, and then rook b king f4. So why I played king f4 is like I wanted to play rook b2, but then after that, perhaps there's like I don't remember exactly, but maybe b5 now, like a b, and then like f6 or something. I mean, you play something and then f6. And this wasn't so clear to me how it might unfold, so I just played king f4. I was also trying to do some mating ideas, like not really clear how, but maybe with some ideas like shifting the rook back. Like these are some ideas I saw. But anyway, I did this, and then I took on, and he took on g4. Like he checked me, and then here I was thinking, okay, here's worth mentioning. If you play king g5, f6 just mates you in two moves, so that would be a terrible idea. So king e5, and then rook takes g4. So after rook takes g4, um, I f6 is the threat, by the way. So if you do nothing, like you play h5 and f6, win the rook on a2. So I played f6 first because I want to fix the pawns on dark squares. So I played f6, and then king g6. And here I think I played king e6, but I think it was a bit rushed. Like, but also I thought, I have to rush. That's what I thought because I wasn't afraid of these pawns going somewhere like falling off the board. I was trying to win these ones. So king d6 and rook e4, bishop rook e4. I think is a bit unnecessary. Like I'm playing. I want to play bishop g5 anyway, so maybe we should do something else like start grabbing. But anyway, he did this, and then play rook 6 king c7. Here I was down to seconds. Luckily for the increment. And there's b5. Okay, so here king b6 is pretty much the only try I thought, because if you take it, there's no reason to take to improve his structure. So just king b6, and we're not afraid of b4 because we take here. Not afraid of this either. Sorry. So c4, which I thought was a bit weird. But maybe he didn't have anything to choose. But king takes a6, and then here I saw before king takes a6 that the e3 square is covered. This is really important because a pawn is probably going to land in b3, and after I intercept it, there's no way to defend it. So after b4, king a5, c5. Uh, Not sure what it does, but king b4, b3, and here's the point that rook e3 is not possible. Otherwise, it would be awesome. Rook e8, rook b3, and here I thought I was winning, but then instantly after rook a3, I thought, how am I going to win this? And I repeated a little bit because I wasn't sure, and he'll even offered a draw, which I was about to accept actually. But then I thought, okay. Then I calmly just evaluated, and I thought, okay, if I could take this pawn, for example, I wasn't sure if it's a draw, but if it's a draw, I'm probably playing risk free, right? Two pawns, like if you think it's a draw, then you should prove it to me instead of me proving it to you, right? So then play king takes f6, king d5, king d5. Here I was thinking probably it's a draw, but I want to see, like I want to test it out, Here the main idea is to play this or to play this. I mean f5 probably, and then this, or to play bishop a7, bishop e4. But I think it was a bit slow in his plans, like rook d2 and then bishop g3, king d5. When I saw king d5, I thought, okay, yeah, this seems good because like the d5 square is covered and this diagonal is blocked. So did a5, rook b2, king a4. I didn't want to play this because the pawn just never advances if you go king a6, yeah. So I play king a4, played f5. And then if you were to play king c4, I would have to play no, I would, yeah, if a5, rook b4 check, this would be perpetual. I didn't see a perpetual. I was thinking a6 actually because I had no time anyway. But okay, if you had played this, probably I would like it would likely be a draw. I think I didn't see all these tricks like bishop e1 or bishop rook c3 and then bishop e5. I didn't see any of these. But okay, and I played f5. Play a6, which I thought was very reasonable. I also consider rook f3, but okay, I think pass pawns must be pushed, right? a6, king c6. And here I was about to offer a draw because it was quite clear that if my king was on a1, then maybe I would be much better because I can push. Immediately, a7 I can push. I mean, ignoring the fact that the rook is hanging, but a7 I can push immediately and then I can win this. But sadly, a7 is not possible because the rook is not defending the pawn. But anyway, I played bishop e5. I thought, okay, if he plays rook b5, then maybe I will check him and I actually win the rook. This was my last trick. And he really played rook b5, which was a very bad move, actually. And he had lots of time, like 40 something minutes. So, what a pity. I actually initially saw this idea first. King b6, bishop c7, king takes a6, rook c6, king b7. This was the idea I saw. But then I saw that, okay, maybe he could play rook c5. And after this trade, if I were to trade, then the bishop would be able to come back, right? And I thought this was not winning, really, because how do I win here? It's not clear to me, but I think the answer is that this pass pawn will win also. But this one wasn't quite clean to me. But then before I played rook c3, I was really energetic, and I saw a7, which just crushes immediately. and he played rook c2. I played a queen and checked him, and he resigned by flipping the king over, which is quite classy as well. Here he resigned because the bishop's also hanging. Maybe if the bishop's not hanging, yeah, you could argue, there's something else that you can do. Also, if the rook is not hanging. But he just resigned, and I think this is quite a fruitful game. A lot happened, and I really enjoyed the entire game. The nerves, the middle game, like the themes of the opposite color bishops is really, like, I will definitely remember this game. So this is quite a nice one, and this is round one, and I hope the subsequent rounds will be quite nice. So yeah, so the last position, let's see again, e5, rook b5, rook c3, rook c5, a7. Oh, actually, if you're wondering, I was also talking with a friend that a7 also just wins, actually, and it's much easier because after rook e5, there's a check. Basically, this is the game, and I hope I will be fine next round and probably face someone stronger, and hopefully I enjoy it.